Hey, Kris here. I'm so glad you joined me for 5 Minute Church. We're talking for a couple of weeks on the theme, I don't care anymore. What I'm talking about is casting our care on Him. And it's important because the Greek word merimna is what we translate the word care, and it means to be distracted. In other words, a person that has a bunch of cares is a person who is pulled away from their attraction on Christ. Now, Paul said in 1 Corinthians 7, verse 35, I want you to attend upon the Lord without distraction. The New International Version says, undivided loyalty. Same thing in James 1 and 8. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Now, the word double-minded there is diasukos or diapsyche, two psyches, schizophrenic, operating both in the flesh and spirit at the same time. Two heads are not better than one. I think of Brittany and Abby Hensel, 28-year-old conjoined twins, two heads on one body. They seem to do well together, but generally, you don't want to have two heads. You want to have single-mindedness. Hosea 10 and 2, their heart is divided. Now they shall be found faulty. A divided heart is a faulty heart. Now, 7 things. Number 1, distraction distances you from the main attraction. The main attraction is Christ. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear Him. But you get distracted. I've told you many times the main thing is to keep the main thing. And you show me your focus, I'll show you your future. But when things get out of focus, it's like a camera. It gets out of focus, everything becomes pixelated and fuzzy, and you wonder why you don't have a clear picture. It's because you are distracted. Number 2, distraction reduces a person to inaction. If you don't make a decision or have a focus, you just sit there on your hands. So, the little poem I heard, the worry cow could have lived till now if she'd only saved her breath, but she feared the hay wouldn't last the day, so she starved herself to death. She's double-minded. It's like standing between a hay bale on the right and a hay bale on the left, not eating from either, you'll still starve to death. And then number 3, distraction is the main cause behind subtraction. You wonder, how come my church is getting littler? How come I'm not growing? Well, what is your attraction? Are you preaching Christ, or are you scolding members? Are you trying to put out fires? Are you talking all the time about the church budget? You have to get back to the main attraction. If I be lifted up, will draw, not repel, draw all men unto me. And then number 4, distraction leads to faction and fraction. When the Israelites started looking at graves instead of grapes, called themselves grasshoppers, started complaining, manna, 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 all we have is manna. Well, they started looking back to the old world of Egypt, and the next thing, there was a giant church split brewing. Half the people were wanting to stone Moses. It turned into fraction and faction. And then number 5, a good verse for that is Isaiah 26 and 3. You will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee. In other words, what you look at longest becomes strongest, and your stare will affect your care. Number 5, distraction may literally put you in traction. The biggest cause of auto accidents is not faulty brakes, not icy roads, but the problem is rubbernecking. The problem is texting. The problem is looking at peripheral views and getting your eyes off the main concentration of driving. It can lead literally to traction. And then number 6, at worst, distraction leads to detraction. People all of a sudden want to go back. Now, that's what happened with the Israelites. Once they started to feud and fuss and bicker, and they started to have faction and fraction, the next thing, it became detraction. People talked about going back to Egypt. It was better back in the old days. And that happened in the New Testament also. John 6, verse 66, good 666 verse. It said, then many of his disciples went back and walked no more with him. And Jesus said, will you go also? In other words, they were looking at loaves instead of looking at the attraction of the plan of God. Then finally, I have to ask, what's your reaction to distraction? When Peter got his eyes distracted, got his eyes off Jesus, he began to sink. And if you have that sinking feeling, it may be that the cares of this world, merimna, distractions, are pulling you away from Christ. So get back to your first love. Seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and then all these other things will be added to you. Kris here, hope you enjoy these 5-minute broadcasts. Share, like, tell me if you do, and we'll see you tomorrow with more on I Don't Care Anymore.